And the beginning of your book, and I love that we harmonized on that. I mean, so she's written this amazing book called Black is Not a Credential.
The corporate scam of DEI.
The corporate scam of DEI.
That part's important.
That part's very important. And I don't care if you don't want to read this, you need to read this. Like, it's such a, like, even just read, if you just read the preface or the, you call it prologue? I think it's your preface, yeah.
Preface, introduction.
Introduction, yeah. I sat down and read that. Yeah, the introduction. I sat down and read your introduction, and I was just like you could just feel the chills and the energy and the it's just power. You're a very bold, powerful woman, and you care about a lot about doing what's right. Can you tell the story a little bit about your grandma?
I knew you were gonna do it.
Well, it's so incredible, and this will get anybody who reads this is gonna get the extra context from this story because she helped you be you. I mean, what an incredible lady, right?
Yeah. So, here we go.
Yeah. Do you want to say this till the end? Am I hurting your?
No.
Oh, okay. Your image.
This part is, I mean, if there's anything that will make me cry, it's definitely Miss Honey.
Yeah.
And that's my grandmother. So, gosh, where do I even start? I grew up in North Las Vegas during the height of.
I can already see the tears coming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love you. You got this.
There's nothing but love here.
Yeah.
Anybody else ask me this question, I would say read the damn book. But
maybe they will now.
Yeah, I'm sure. So when it comes to how I am so bold and so confident, it is definitely because of my grandmother. So growing up, again, grew up in North Las Vegas, height of the AIDS epidemic, crack epidemic, Bloods and Crips, gang wars. Like it was pretty rough. It's very, very real.
Yeah. And North Las Vegas is not the most comfortable environment in Las Vegas. I love North Las Vegas, but it's like the epicenter of a lot of it.
I couldn't say what it's like today, to be honest. I
think it's changed a lot. Yeah.
But back in the 90s, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And so a couple of things that contribute to me being very bold and very confident. One is growing up in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Sweet and softness is just not going to work.
No.
It
evaporates.
That is asking to make yourself a target for so many things.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to be tough.
Yeah. Oh, you're tough as nails. Like you're tough.
But I also had to learn to be that way.
Yeah. It wasn't your natural state.
My natural state is, I wouldn't say I'm the sweetest, but I am sweet. And I am very kind, and I'm also very considerate.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed, but I have learned how to protect myself and put that shell up. And there's a lot that goes into a neighborhood like that, particularly when you are a young girl.
Oh, for sure.
Add on top of that when you're a young, pretty girl.
Yeah.
Because then boys and also young men feel that they can just treat you any sort of way. They can talk to you any sort of way. And so in my neighborhood, girls were absolutely not respected.
Yeah. They were objectified.
They were completely objectified. And pretty girls served one purpose. Yeah. And that was to please and do whatever these really dumb, silly, going nowhere boys felt you should be.
Yeah.
And so I refused to be that for people that I knew I was smarter than. And that came from Miss Honey. But I didn't really know what that looked like when I'm, 10, 11, 12 years old, because I still had to walk to the bus stop to get to school and so on and so forth. And so.
And every time you say Miss Honey, I think of Mattel. I don't know if you watched Matilda. But Miss Honey is like teacher. You know the story?
I do not know the story.
No? Okay, well, it's very similar. So it's resonating in my brain.
So I had to learn how to be tough. And one day after school, there was this boy. He was awful, obnoxious, kind of ugh. And his auntie was ripping him a new one. And he didn't talk back. He just did what he was told. And went on about his way. And so I realized if I asserted myself differently, you wouldn't see me like this pretty girl. You would see me like this auntie or this authority figure, and then just move on. And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
you found that power, that role,
very, very
that
quickly.
authority, and yeah.
And I embodied it very easily. And again, a lot of that came from Miss Honey. So at home, Miss Honey, growing up, she was always about how lucky everyone else should feel to be around me.
Okay.
She never wanted me to be insecure. She never wanted anyone to have that much power.
Oh, she was saying that about you.
About me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, she was empowering you.
She was teaching me to be confident and speak up for myself. So if someone doesn't like what you have to say, they don't deserve to be around you. You should be able to speak your mind and have a conversation. And if they don't, then basically to hell with them.
Yeah.
Like, that was who she was. And I didn't realize what's interesting is I didn't realize what a gift that was. I didn't realize that everyone else didn't have a Miss Honey telling them that, no, you're incredibly smart and yeah, you're pretty, but you can't bank on that, right? Like, you still have to be really smart and you have to be hardworking. And she just instilled all of these values in me that I embodied from a young girl up until now. But one of the greatest was, you have to understand, and I talk about this one thing in the book, you have to understand that there are lions and there are sheep.
I love this.
There are lions and there are sheep. And you are a lion.
So don't act like a sheep.
Don't pretend to be a sheep.
So.
But she also emphasized that that's going to be probably lonely for you. Right? Just being the type of person that's comfortable speaking up, standing for what's right. So I was the person at school that I wasn't to be played with, but I also, if you were picking on someone just because they were smaller than you, I would say something. Like, get a life, like, I would call that out. And no one pushed back. And it wasn't because I was a bully. It was because I truly felt that was right.
Yeah, you wielded the sword of truth.
Wielded the sword of truth. Of course you would position it that way, Sam.
You did.
I love that. But that came from Miss Honey.
Yeah.
And so transitioning into, where we are today, it was a natural. What would Miss Honey have to say?
Yeah. I love that. Well, and it's interesting that her name's Miss Honey.
Yeah, because she wasn't all that sweet. She was tough, but I mean, she would be a spicy honey. You know, the honey that you put on the spicy pizza.
That's the best kind. That's the best kind.
I completely agree.
So you have this amazing experience. You see that woman speaking with power. And it's interesting because my wife and I have talked a lot about how there are male and female energies. And I think that the most powerful version of a male energy is physical strength. There's something about presence and that women generally, especially if they've been taught like you have and embrace that power, speech is one of the most powerful things a woman has. Completely
agree.
Their ability to, like Miss Honey did for you, and like how you do when you protect other people. You would say, no, I'm gonna wield truth and speak it in a way that would change.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been fairly small, right? I'm 5'3", so
you don't feel small to me. You're powerful.
I have a big energy. I have a really, really big energy.
You do.
But to that point, if I was only relying on my physical strength when I'm talking or asserting myself with a man, I don't stand a chance.
No, and if anything, it's interesting because I think that the female power of speech is actually
greater than.
It is.
1,000%.
It is, and I've seen it. I mean, I was raised by my mom's one of 12. She has 9 sisters, and so I was raised in that environment, and I've seen it. I've seen people afraid to be lions because they have that voice or a voice like that's in their head telling them they're not a lion, they're a lamb, right? And that's hard for people.
Yeah.
But I've also seen people be lions because they have that similar experience.
Well, I think it's, I had no idea what she meant when she said that to me.
Good, keep going, because you have some good experiences of how you showed up like a lion.
So I'm 13 years old. Yeah. I have no idea, right, what she's saying. And then I had an incident in my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and she said it to me, and it kind of made more sense. And this was after a really, really bad day at school, and I talk about this in the book. And she explained it again, like, you're a lion. Basically, so you don't even need to care about what sheep think because
Let it go.
you're on a completely different level. And I kind of recognized that what happened at school was me being in a room full of sheep, and I was incredibly irritated.
You have to tell that story. You just have to.
Okay.
I know it's like your hook for the book, but let's let it be a hook here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
because this isn't. I mean, seriously, you read this and I get chills even just thinking about it. I'm like, this is power.
I'm in algebra class, and and
you're in 5th grade, right?
No. In this one, I'm a sophomore.
Oh, okay.
Sophomore.
Right. Okay.
And we had a substitute teacher.
That's right. Yeah.
Now here's what's anyone who's ever taught hood kids
in North Las Vegas,
in North Town,
yeah,
or any neighborhood,
the chaos, right? Yeah.
When there's a substitute teacher, it is complete and utter just debauchery.
Yeah. I believe it.
There's just no
there's no order.
There's no order. You don't know who's the real troublemaker in the class, so everyone gets to kind of be this, and that's what this was. But this teacher was clearly used to teaching. This sub was clearly used to teaching hood kids.
Yeah.
Because he came right in and took control.
And laid down some rules.
Right?
Yeah. And
so he presents this math problem.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember the equation, but I remember this experience. And he puts this equation up on the whiteboard or chalkboard or whatever. And it was something like 2 + 2 = 5.
Sure.
No, it doesn't. And so I'm immediately irritated that you think that we're stupid.
Yeah.
And I got sensitive because everyone in the class, we were mostly black kids. And this was a white teacher. So I'm immediately thinking, he thinks we're just a bunch of dumb black kids. That didn't come from my mom.
Put your dukes up a little.
Or Miss Honey, yeah. Right? Like that was just an environmental condition. Like why would he be doing this?
Sure. Well, but that's also just you, I think, a little bit. Like you're focused on truth, and you look to him as a potential source of truth, and then he's not doing it.
And then he's not doing it. Yeah. And why is he doing that?
Yeah.
Right? So all this happening very, very quickly.
Sure.
And so I immediately push back. That's not right. He's like, yes, it is.
2 + 2 = 5.
So this went back. Yeah. We went back and forth.
Yeah.
And he basically tells the entire class that if I don't back down, that everyone was going to have homework. And they all turned on me. TaChelle, shut up, be quiet, so on and so forth. And I'm thinking, you morons, you know this doesn't equal 5.
They should have stood up with you.
But they did not.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to have homework because there's no way I'm going to accept this lie.
See, that's incredible to me that you just were so committed to truth that you didn't, it's like, we're going to the truth, damn the consequences.
Yeah. I know we're all going to end up fighting later.
Who cares?
Right? I don't like you guys anyway.
You have integrity.
I have integrity.
Yeah.
You are not going to convince me that this means something else.
Yeah.
And so he and I have this standoff where he's like, are you willing to admit that it's this? And I'm like, no. Absolutely.
And this theme music comes.
Yeah, basically this theme music, and we're locking eyes, and I'm furious. He's not.
Love it.
He's not furious at all. He's completely fine, and I'm no. And then he pauses and he says, TaChelle's the only one that doesn't have homework.
It's such a cool story. That's such a cool story.
I'm the only one that didn't have homework. And they were like, what? And so he gives this lesson on how there's no way this equals 5. Why did you guys all allow me to convince you otherwise? And I turned to this huge, I am furious.
Sure.
I'm not happy that I was right. I'm irritated that you tried to convince me that this was wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm even more irritated that I'm in a class with a bunch of dummies.
Well, and were you upset that he pitted you against them?
No, that didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I'm completely fine with conflict. That didn't bother me at all.
That surprised me.
I was more irritated with the fact that I was in a room
with dummies,
with people who would accept something that was so obviously not true.
Yeah.
And then turn on me.
Yeah.
For standing up for what I knew and we all knew to be right. And so I went home and I'm furious. This affected the entire rest of my day. And I get home and it was always a big deal when I got home. right? My Miss Honey was, Shelly B, how was your day? And the whole thing. And we would
Loves on you.
love
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And this day I walked in and I went right to my room. I was just so upset. So she comes in. She's like, what's wrong? And I tell her, and she's listening. And I remember being like, I think he did that because he thinks we're a bunch of like dumb black kids. And she was like, what does that have to do? She just didn't accept that at all. She's like, what does that have to do with anything?
Sure.
And I didn't have a real response for like what that had to do with anything. Again,
You were calling out your motive.
I'm rationalizing as a teenager.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
And that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not going to be successful or less successful because of your skin color like that.
Right.
So just basically toss that out of your mind. But what's really the problem? Like, what's really going on? And I was like, why am I in a class with all these dummies?
Okay.
I'm smart. And I just basically just went on praising myself the way that she did all the time. Like, why would I be in a class with all these dummies?
Yeah.
And it was just circumstance, right? Like the school was what it was, and that's where you're going, right? I wasn't going to Bishop Gorman. I wasn't going to a private school. And
you know, our school district does need to get changed.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So keep going.
So
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I think there's an opportunity. So I didn't really have a way out of like my thought process. I was just probably going to be in this funk for the rest of my life. I was just so frustrated.
Oh, wow, yeah.
At least that's how I felt at the moment as a teenager. And I was just trying to understand how and why I was in this situation. And more importantly, why I was the only one that was comfortable with calling this out. And she emphasized again, because you are a lion.
Stop trying to be a sheep.
Don't worry about the sheep.
Don't worry about the sheep. Yeah.
Right? So then it started to make a little bit more sense because now I see this in this environment, right? Where I wasn't worried about the consequences of, you know, the other 32 students in the class. Yes, there were that many. They're the
homework.
That all had homework or that would approach me because my rebuttal would be, you're the dummy. You're the one that fell for something so obviously not true.
Well, it's almost like you don't, your boldness comes with a very clear desire not to, the best way to say it is you don't feel responsible for how other people
I 100% do
receive the truth.
No.
You're just like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to try and sugarcoat it for you.
So I would say that one of my greatest skills or gifts is I'm really good at not making other people's issues my issues.
Mm-hmm.
I take complete ownership of my feelings, of my words, of my behavior. I take 100% ownership.
Yeah.
But I do not take any type of ownership or accountability for how someone receives.
Sure.
That's not on me.
Sure.
And that I also got from my grandmother.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's powerful. You know, it's interesting because I feel like I was raised, or at least the product of me was that I do feel responsible. And I feel hyper responsible to try and accommodate and support and help. And being the oldest of a bunch of grandkids and feeling like it was my job.
I'm also the oldest. I still don't feel that.
No, I agree. But that's the narrative I tell myself. You know what I mean? But that your fearlessness, like you are fearless when it comes to speaking truth. And I think that's it's priceless. It's such a priceless power. Because otherwise you live in a fairy tale land. You live in a delusional state and you don't really understand how to enjoy things.
I completely agree. And it's interesting too, right? Because growing up, I mean, we're talking family. I have 6 aunties and 2 uncles. Of the 6, 3 severe drug addictions. Of my 2 uncles, both severe drug addiction.
Oh man, that's so sad.
And I never understood how. I never understood how. Yes, the environment that I grew up in, technically I should have been more susceptible to that. But my grandfather was a hardworking man. He served in the U.S. Army for 22 years.
Wow.
retired and worked for the State Department.
Wow.
Never missed a day of work in 4 years.
Wow. Yeah.
My grandmother was a nurse. While she was tough, they had both parents, like traditional values, safe, stable. I never understood how that became their story, but they blamed my grandparents. And I always pushed back. Like, no, you're a grown person.
Sure.
This is your decision, your choice. It's not based on that. So even within the family, I've always stood for what I truly believe to be the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful.
And what's right.
Yeah.
And it's not always popular, but that's why there are more sheep than lions.
Amen to that. And I love it. And you will always be my friend because you are definitely a lion. And it's funny because I had a dream once where I was walking, I was stressed out with life and was worried about my decisions. And I remember having a sense that I looked down because I felt in this dream, my hands were touching fur. And I looked down and I saw these 2 lions at my feet. And I was terrified in the dream. I startled, and all of a sudden I realized that they were friendly lions. They were like on my team. They were loyal to me. Mm. And I was surrounded by people, and all of a sudden it gave me this confidence to not be afraid of what other people thought, because I knew I had lions at my feet.
Yeah. And
I feel like that's you. Like you embody that same energy. You're definitely, your last name could definitely not just be, Lawson. It could be TaChelle Lyon.
I'm changing my name, guys.
But that comes from that commitment to truth. You're not afraid because you know the truth is not going to change. It doesn't change.
It doesn't change. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's telling it. The truth is what it is.
The truth is the truth.
And it's funny because do you remember a few months ago I called you and told you about a dream I had about a mountain lion inside of my house, and it freaked me out. And you actually affirmed, no, this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and that's confirmation that you were protected.
As you were writing this.
As I was writing this book. I was writing Black is Not Credential.
Yeah. That you should be committed and you're protected and it's okay, let's go.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
And
you did it.
And I did.
You did it. And I remember you calling me, and it's in those moments where you're in that valley and you're like, and I've been there too. Where am I going? What am I doing? Why do I not have clear vision?
Yeah.
The path.
Yeah.
But you rose up.
Yeah.
You're on top of the peak now.
There'll
be more valleys. I get it. That's life.
There's a guarantee of the valleys.
Helps you enjoy the peaks. But you've done this. You've done this. And it's powerful. I mean, it's beautiful. And you've given a gift to people to help see things clearly. Like one of the things that we talked about.
No, I mean, I think the other thing to acknowledge is that when I was seeking guidance, right, and asking, I also acknowledged that the Lord was legitimately putting people around me to lift me up, because the only thing I knew was that I was changing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was changing. There was something that was happening. I was becoming, but I didn't know what I was becoming or how or why. I just know all of a sudden I had this obsession to focus on this book. Yeah. And there was no rhyme or reason why this came out of nowhere, but my instincts heightened. My intuition was sharper. Like so many things were happening. Yeah. And as a result of that, I also had all of these, I call them guardians, like you, that just were placed in my life without me fully knowing why. Yeah, I love it. I feel that light. The taste good. Don't you feel it right now? Because you're speaking truth. And so it's crazy to me because I do feel that you were given guardians. And it was my honor to be able to see you on your path. And I felt like I was in a place where I was up a little bit on a hill. Yeah, for sure. And I could see you in the valley, and I was like, no, keep coming. Yeah. You got this. Yeah. And that was the most, I mean, I still remember that conversation. It was probably one of the most rewarding conversations I've had. One of the most top in my life, because I felt like I was helping you. Yeah. Yeah. And there's something beautiful about that. Receiving truth and then sharing truth with people is glorifying. Don't you think? I think so. I'm not quite where you are, but I appreciate. No, truly. No. Spiritually, I'm not quite. But I am definitely in a place where I'm much better at receiving and recognizing where these people are coming from. Like the things that have happened since I've written Black is Not a Credential, and the people that have just come out of nowhere. You received it. I wouldn't have been able to receive this, I think, a year ago. Like spiritually, I wasn't awake enough.
Sure.
And my intuition and instincts weren't sharp enough for me to understand, oh, okay, that's what's going on. That's what this is.
This is the source. This is the message. Yeah, but speaking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, keep going.
Yeah.
I like the encouragement.
Yeah.
So just the other day, and this is very, very random. Just the other day,
Okay.
I'm consulting for.
Because you've consulted for some big organizations.
I have so this is a small
Yeah.
gig that I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just sitting at the front desk. I'm observing the operations. I'm sitting at the front desk, and someone's in the waiting area. Their spouse is in the back doing a meeting, and this beautiful, lovely, kind man just starts telling me his story, unsolicited.
Okay.
Just starts telling me his story.
Yeah.
And it's the most fascinating story I think I have ever heard. He's telling me how he grew up, and his dad he lost his mom really, really young, and his dad lost it, and so they just got in the car and start driving for years, and for years this little boy slept in a car.
Oh.
And looking back, he says, I realized I was always in the car by myself. My dad never slept in the car with me. And I was like, well, where was your dad? Oh, he always pulled into some bar or something like that and would pull out his guitar and play a song and meet a woman and stay the night. And then in the morning, we would be on our way.
He was leaving the kid in the car?
Leaving the kid in the car.
I was hoping that we were going to say something like he was out working and making money so that we could...
Yeah, I was hoping he would have said that too.
Oh.
That wasn't the situation. So he's telling me this story, and I'm like, well, he's like, I didn't go to school, I didn't do this, and so on and so forth. I'm like, this story is absolutely fascinating. It's like, yeah, but then, once we got grounded and, I started really getting into education, I focused, like I kept myself basically sharp, because every place we would stop, I would ask for their old Reader's Digest or their old TV guides. And that's how he learned, maintained reading.
Wow.
Or his grandmother taught him to read. He maintained reading and staying sharp. And he just developed this huge curiosity for knowledge.
Wow.
Long story short, he pursues and gets his bachelor's. Then he goes on to get his master's. Then he got a second master's. He has a doctorate. Just this unbelievable story.
Yeah.
And I said, where's your book? Have you written a book? And he's like, well, I'm working on it. Have you written a book? Why would he ask me that? I didn't tell him anything about my life.
But you were radiating that light. You had that energy inside you.
Something. And I said, actually, I have. He said, I had a feeling. This is a true story.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
So we're having this whole exchange. I tell him about the book.
Yeah.
He pulls it up. And he says, this is fantastic. You didn't tell me the subtitle. You need to send this book to the president. And I said, okay.
I think you do too.
Okay. And he says, my son does PR. I'm going to order this book. I'm going to give it to him. And I'm going to make sure that this gets to it turned into this whole, and I'm sitting there like, I'm doing some consulting for a local business.
But you brought out the light. You bring out light like that and it hits the universe, and all of a sudden it has this ripple effect, and light attracts light.
Light attracts light.
That's it.
Honestly, see, I wasn't doing anything. I get this guy's incredible story. I'm so motivated by him and encouraged, wow, what an incredible story. How would I would have, in what world would I have met this man in any other way, received this beautiful story, this encouragement?
Yeah. I love it. It's beautiful.
So since writing the book, all of these little things are happening. No, let's be clear. Not everybody's happy about this.
No, I know. We have some friends that I'm sure.
Yeah, they're not all happy about it.
Yeah.
For them, I'm a traitor.
Well, and that's what's interesting, because my perspective on this is I was raised by a mom who, we lost everything a couple times. We didn't have a lot. We didn't grow up in North Las Vegas, but I had my friends in Arizona, the Capilielas, the Tongan, dirt floors, we just didn't have a lot. And, but my mom was fierce about truth and light and love. And I remember she would read us Dr. Seuss. And he has the book, Starbelly Sneeches.
I don't know this book. This is Dr. Seuss?
This is Dr. Seuss. And
Okay.
it's a story about these people. Sneeches are these people that look like, they're like bird animals. Okay, they're like people that like have, they're like the Grinch, or they're like, one of the other characters that you'd see in one of, like, Thing 1 and Thing 2. They kind of look funny.
Okay.
And this guy shows up to these Sneeches, and because there's two groups. There's Sneeches with stars on their bellies, and there's Sneeches with no stars. The whole thing rhymes, and it's really, really well written and cute. And this guy shows up with a machine, and he's like, hey, you people who have stars, you're the only ones that get to go to the beach. And you're the only ones that get these things. And so he goes to the ones without stars, and he's like, hey, you come on my machine, you pay me a little money, I'll give you a star in your belly. And so he makes it so there's more Sneeches with stars. And then the ones with stars get upset.
Because it's not exclusive anymore.
Right. And so he's like, oh, step over here to this other machine and I'll take the star off your belly. And he just rakes all the money in and creates all the contention and division. And so my mindset growing up with people, I mean, I had a friend, I grew up in diversity in my brain because I had a gal down the street who was Cherokee, who I was in love with. She was absolutely gorgeous. And I had my Capelielas friends, and I had friends who were African American. Like I had one friend, Chad, he was so fast. He was the fastest kid in my elementary school. So I just grew up with, I didn't care. I just loved people. And I was like, why would we care about stars? Because the end of the book is just be Sneeches.
Yeah.
I don't care about race. We're all on the same team. It's all about just the human race.
Yeah.
Right. So my mindset was that. And I see the contention that comes from the division. And it really bothers me because I really want to be able to say, you're my sister. I don't care what your skin color is. There's light between us, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
And you're willing the sort of truth. It's all that matters to me.
So there's so much to that I think matters.
And it's a very hard thing to talk about. It's a very hard thing for a lot of people to wade through because everybody has different life experiences. Everybody goes up with different perceptions, right?
1,000%. So I think that in my neighborhood, growing up, basically everyone was Black or Hispanic. We did have a couple of white families in the neighborhood.
Sure.
But what made us a community, we were all poor.
Sure. And I get that. I get that.
Like, so there was no Black or Hispanic or white inside of our community. We were all poor. We were all hood kids.
You're on the same team.
So we were on the same.
Yeah.
We all knew that the guy on the corner was a pig, and this one was up. That was our.
Yeah.
It was when we left our community and got on the bus and were bussed into different communities to go to school that we were painfully aware of the fact that skin color mattered. Because the Black kids sat with the Black kids. The Hispanic kids sat with the Hispanic. From different neighborhoods, mind you. But that's just the way that it was. Once we got back on the bus, we were all just back to being kids going back to the hood.
Sure.
What always challenged me was that I had friends that were across
Full spectrum.
Yes. A lot of my friends were actual gangsters or drug dealers, right?
Sure.
I had friends that could barely read. It didn't matter that they were
So there's the compassion.
Black, white. Because we weren't talking. They knew I loved to read and I loved to write, but there was never any, well, you can't read, so we can't talk to each other. Because we had other things to talk about and other things in common
Sure.
that's what those conversations were. But what used to trouble me and what still bothers me today is I was also raised with Christian values. And regardless of what church you belong to,
Right.
it's really about love and respect.
100%.
And so it never resonated with me that I could talk to someone who claimed to be a Christian or a believer that could spew hate from the same mouth.
No.
Like, how can you preach love and belief and then say that you hate someone simply based on their race or
how they look,
what they look like, or take it a step further, who they love?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we start breaking it down, at the end of the day, it should just be all about love and respect. I have tons of flaws.
Sure.
Tons and tons of flaws.
Me too.
We all do.
Yeah.
Are we going to focus on are tons of flaws, or are we going to focus on the things that make us sharper and better, right? Like I believe in that iron sharpens iron.
For sure.
You want to surround yourself with people that actually sharpen you.
100%.
I struggle with the idea that because of skin color, certain things need to be adjusted.
Yeah.
And that's, so the book challenges that idea that I, as a Black woman, am supposed to adopt and believe that the world owes me something.
Yes.
Because I am Black.
Sure.
Because slavery was real and my ancestors were slaves. Well, first of all, I don't know that my ancestors were slaves. That's number one. Number two.
Have you not done any research?
No.
No, yeah, okay.
And I don't mean to say that to be indifferent.
Dismissive, yeah.
Or dismissive.
Yeah.
Not at all. I say that.
Honestly, you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know that the woman who took a huge part in raising me, my grandmother, didn't consider herself a slave. And she also never felt that we were owed something because of our skin color.
Yes.
So my mindset is not to be dismissive. It's simply that I'm not wired that way.
Sure.
I'm wired to say, we can't deny that slavery was real. And anyone who does is just a liar. We don't need to.
And awful. Yeah.
We don't need to deny that.
No.
We don't need to deny that we do have a race problem in this country. Like, all these things are real, but we don't solve race problems by creating different race problems. And we don't.
So that's so true. And we don't create solutions by. I mean, maybe the best way to say it is you don't fix it by making it more of a problem.
Yes, we're not. The goal is to simplify, not complicate.
Not complicate. Yeah.
And so what I argue is that, yes, we know that we have a race problem in this country.
Sure.
But I would be completely unfair if I assumed that you, because you are a white man, you have certain thoughts or beliefs about me as a Black woman.
Yeah, that's unfair. It's projected.
Or vice versa.
For sure.
And that's what I wholeheartedly just dismantle. Absolutely not.
It's distortion. It's a self-deception.
And I don't need special treatment.
You do not.
I do not.
No, you demand respect and you get it.
And you're going to give it to me or I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's that simple.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I do think, again, because of how I grew up, I do understand that systemic racism, systems, and that's very real.
Sure.
And so that's what we should be focusing on fixing instead of creating new problems that we're going to have to fix later on.
No, I agree. And I've had a job where I was told, hey, you need to find a replacement who's a female, who's a minority for your job. And I agree that doesn't solve things
at all.
It just creates resentment. It's basically saying, well, there was an injury here, so let's go create another injury here to try and fix it. You know, I think it's Orson Scott Card who said, a good science fiction writer, he said, if we follow the law of Moses, you know, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, that everyone eventually ends up blind and toothless. Right? Like, that's...
And very unhappy.
Blind and unable to eat. And instead, it's more like, I mean, that's the Christian mindset. It really is that one law of where when Christ is confronted by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they're like, what's the greatest commandment? And he said, it's love God. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. It's love.
It's love.
It is love. And I will not abandon truth.
Well, I think that truth is love.
I agree. It's like it's the opposite side of the same coin.
Yeah.
They're connected.
I don't see how you can have love without truth.
No. In fact, truth, I've said this before. I think we've shared this. Like, truth without love wounds. Yeah. It's damaging. It's destructive. Yeah. But love without truth is spineless.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
Completely agreed.
Yeah.
So I think in a couple of different ways, what we're trying to solve starts with, one, I didn't create this problem.
Yeah. And it's been a cycle. We go through the cycles, right? Yeah.
I didn't create this problem.
Sure.
You didn't create this problem.
No.
Let's start with that.
I love that you say that.
Right?
Let's start there.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Stop blaming people for what happened 100 years ago.
So going back to the beginning, I'm really good at taking ownership of what I've done
and where you are right now.
And like what, and I'm not going to assert blame
Sure.
where it doesn't belong.
Sure.
And so what we're talking about are things that happened well before any of us.
Yeah.
Like you and I.
No.
No. So it starts with, first and foremost, what's the current threat?
Sure.
Do we feel that racism is fake? No. We know that that's real. But we also know that not every issue that takes place between a white person and a black person is about race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we can just disagree.
Yes.
It has nothing to
Sometimes
do.
it's just people being people.
It's just people being people.
Or sneeches being sneeches.
Well, exactly. Stars on the belly or no stars.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with race or gender.
No.
It's just, we don't agree.
And we have different perspectives.
We have different perspectives, different experiences. And so I think that's level one.
Sure.
Right? We acknowledge not everything is about that.
Sure.
When that is introduced, then you address it accordingly.
Sure.
I talk about this in the book. A lot of times it's just a cultural difference. I grew up in a house where my grandmother did not play. No one was going to come in and say, hey, listen, poor little black girl, we're going to give these things to you because we think you're too stupid to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
I wish the Miss Honey would have head explode.
Yeah.
So why would that be accepted now? Why would I allow someone today to tell me the reason you're getting this job, TaChelle, is because Sam is leaving and we want to replace this position with a black woman because, okay, that's beyond disrespectful.
Right.
But if you approach it as, hey, TaChelle, we understand that this customer segment is shifting and we don't understand enough about this customer. And we understand that you culturally do understand a little bit.
Sure.
Now you're bringing in a level of respect and acknowledgement for a skill set or a perspective that I bring to the table. That changes everything.
With a legitimate business purpose.
With a legitimate that changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I'm arguing.
Sure.
We don't need to pretend this isn't real, but not everything is about that. And if you are introducing diversity to the business, you are introducing inclusion, which I do think is just smart business.
I agree.
It still
and
has
good humanity.
You're all about the humanity.
Yeah. As you roll your eyes at me. What I mean is, let me say it this way. I think it's good. It's the recipe for innovation. It's the recipe for inventiveness. Like it opens up positive conflict that allows you to find better solutions and explore things from different angles. That's a good thing.
I agree. And I also think it's no longer negotiable.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. I think that the way that we expect employees to be hard workers and show up on time.
That's like a table stakes.
Right? Like these are just basics.
Baseline.
They also expect inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just kind of the way that it is.
Yeah, no, for example, we have a lot of clients that are Spanish speakers because there's a large number of people here in Las Vegas that are Spanish. Yeah. And so it's like if they're going to show up and expect service, well, somebody better speak Spanish.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, we want you to understand it. We want to understand you. So let's speak your language. Yeah.
And that's not saying, hey, we need to hire a Spanish speaking person. We can throw you up on the website and let everyone know how diverse we are. That's making sure that we're able to address a legitimate business need.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And it doesn't take away from the awesomeness of English.
At all.
No. Or take away from the awesomeness of Spanish.
It is smart business. It addresses a need.
Yeah.
But it also shows respect to this individual. And I think that's the part that has been so severely overlooked in most DEI programs or implementations, is that when you just reduce a person to this box of being able to say, hey, literally walk in with your little clipboard. Oh.
Check.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you've reduced them to a number or to a dollar sign or that's
worse. You've literally reduced them to a box.
Yeah, you're right. And that's classic.
How could you call that inclusion?
It's no. Yeah. It's the worst. In fact, and we say this all the time here. There are two types of people in the world. There are people that treat people like people, and that creates light. And there are people that treat people like objects or a box or a dollar sign or a bottom line or whatever.
And that creates resentment.
It does. And it's a lie.
It's also a lie.
It's the worst lie. And I think all terrible things in the world come from that one lie.
I think, I can't really disagree. Well, it's interesting too, because pushing back on it,
Please.
right?
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
this a lot, but
Yeah.
but pushing back on it, you cannot be faint of heart,
No.
because someone's rebuttal is almost always going to be incredibly emotional,
Yes.
completely void of data,
Or logic.
or definitely void of logic. Like that is a guarantee.
Yeah.
So then how do you actually make that
Oh, yeah.
make sense?
Let's get into this. So what do you do?
How do you make that make sense?
So you're a master of this. What do you do?
First and foremost, you strip the emotion out of it, right? And I said this just last week.
Yeah, I love it.
We start with the accountability of the statement. So I say to you, well, obviously you're just not hiring me because I'm Black.
Radical, out of the box emotion, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And your response is what?
That's not true.
Yes. It's that simple. That's not. Why would you even suggest that?
Yeah.
Right? So then it puts the ownership and the responsibility on that person.
Back on. Yeah.
To explain their logic or their reason behind this.
Sure.
And there's almost a 100% guarantee there will be no rebuttal, or no logical rebuttal. Taking it a step further.
Please.
Well, I'm going to let everybody know this is the scariest part, and we talked about this.
Sure.
I'm going to post this.
That you didn't hire me because of my race.
You didn't hire me because this company is racist. You didn't. The leadership is racist.
Yeah.
I went through this whole interview.
And how do we get to that logic step where it's like one little interaction all of a sudden means everything about the entire company?
The entire company is racist.
And all the people in it. Yeah.
Everybody is racist.
Yeah.
First and foremost, again, it comes back to the actual logic. This is why the guardrails and the systems are so important.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So these ideas that we just take the names off of the resumes and don't show any pictures. You do these like, have you seen this?
Oh, no. In fact, I had a student I was teaching a law class and I was telling him that we were grading and he was like, well, that's not fair. It needs to be totally blind. Like the professor shouldn't know who they're grading. And I'm like, then how does the professor teach? How do I gauge whether or not you're actually learning things in our interaction when there's a participation grade? How do I?
Also, good luck in life.
Yeah. So true.
It's like, what are you talking about?
So true. It's like, welcome to the real world. Yeah, impression. My brother says this all the time. He's like, intention is everything. And perception trumps that.
It really does.
Like how we perceive things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want me to go through and just pretend that I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
When in reality, if I'm a good teacher, I'm going to be able to look at your paper and I'll know who this is.
And take full context and try and help you. Yeah, it's rough.
So back to the accountability. You're a racist company because you did not hire me as a Black woman. And you have, in most cases, white leaders are at gunpoint.
They're terrified.
In this situation.
They're terrified, yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I think you said this last week. That's a lot of power for me to be able to wield at whenever I want.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why someone like me is so important. Because I'm calling out, okay, let's look at why you weren't a good fit.
Yeah.
Let's take the race and all the other emotional stuff out of this. Let's talk about why you weren't a good fit, which literally had nothing to do with your race or your gender or whatever the case may be. I was looking for A, B, or C. I made it clear that I was looking for A, B, or C. You came up short in B and C.
Sure.
Had nothing to do with race, nothing. So you start just responding with facts. That's the only thing that shuts down this emotional.
Bring out the sword of
barrier.
truth.
You bring out the sword of truth. and you don't hold back, because what's interesting is, and I hate to say this and
I'm excited for it. Go for it.
Because it's going to sound aggressive, but you have to treat this like a hostile witness on a stand. Sure. You're an attorney. You know.
I get it.
You have to treat this like a hostile witness.
You need to contain.
Once you start getting super emotional, there's no boundaries. So you can only shut it down with facts, with data, and make that person accountable. And you treat them like a hostile witness.
Yeah, well said.
It cannot. You can't softball. You can't softball this.
And what most people are afraid of is they're afraid that if I compromise the relationship or I don't acknowledge the emotion, that somehow it will turn into something worse. But the reality is when you do that, you actually fuel it,
You 1000% fuel.
which is like what Target was doing. Right?
Are we going to talk about Target?
They were not on Target.
Target was not on Target.
We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
So Target is an incredible case study.
It is. Yeah. And I've seen the post that you've been putting about it, and I'm like, yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I can tell you that I stopped going to Target consistently for two reasons. Number one, they had a huge data breach.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. And then the second was there was all this press about how, well, let's let anybody who wants to, whatever gender they are or their perception of gender is, they can use any bathroom. And I'm like, I have little kids. I'm not going to Target.
It's fair.
You know?
So I talk. Oh, Target. So.
But they were kowtowing. They were trying to do everything they could to placate a certain group, and it disenfranchised other groups.
And so this is exactly why Black's Not a Credential is so important. Because it talks about the importance of neutrality in business.
Yeah, I love this. Go ahead, please.
It talks about the importance of neutrality. As the business leader, you understand, especially of a retail brand,
Sure.
you understand that the majority of your customers aren't walking in with a political agenda.
They don't care.
They don't. I came in here for laundry detergent.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to leave with.
And maybe some deodorant, please.
Some deodorant, right? I came in here for my household items.
Yeah.
I really didn't come in for this political agenda.
No.
And so
They don't want to be co-opted into it.
you just don't.
No.
And so by not first and foremost making that your baseline, like that be your truth,
Yeah.
you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Because placating to group A is going to upset group B or vice versa.
Yeah.
When in reality, both of them will be fine if you just focus on selling laundry detergent and so just deodorant.
Focused on your purpose, yeah.
That's it.
Just stand for what you need to stand for.
It sounds ridiculous because it's so basic, but think about how we got where we are today. It's because we've just deviated from the purpose of your business, which was to just sell soap.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You can get everything at Target. But when you start crossing lines, like, and I'm convinced that there was no one with real intelligence, and I know it's not sorry if you're offended, Target, but no one with real intelligence that was at the table that said, opening up restrooms to be gender neutral for a family type retail store is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
How many customers come in here with their little kids?
Yeah.
How many customers, like there are just so many questions that could have been asked that would have alleviated this from the very beginning.
And when you have a little kid, everybody needs a bathroom. Like kids go to the bathroom all the time.
And the reality is, you're not a bigot. You're not insensitive. You're not any of this for wanting your little girl or your little boy to be in a restroom where the other people in there are also little girls or little boys. This is not.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
The narrative is basically trying to say that if you disagree, you're the problem. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's classic projection as well.
And so Target is just one of many that misread the situation.
Sure.
Took it too far. And now it's unfortunate because I feel like a lot of companies have done this, but they're one that's really, they're going to be a case study that's studied for, I think, many, many years.
No, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Well, and there's other examples. I mean, I got my undergrad in PR, so I think about some of this stuff too from a little bit of the same lens. And there are other examples of people who just proactively say, hey, we're going to go fix a problem, a legitimate problem. And that reinforces the brand. It makes them like, incidentally, a very good example of this I studied in college was Tylenol. Mm-hmm. Tylenol had an issue where people were going and tampering with the Tylenol in stores back in the 90s. And so Tylenol store representatives didn't even wait for the CEO to say anything. They just jumped in and said, we're pulling the Tylenol off the shelf. We don't want anybody to get hurt. That's fixing a problem.
Yeah.
As opposed to creating a political agenda to try and reshape society. Nobody wants a business to reshape society.
No. Well, and it's interesting because there's also this belief or this narrative that businesses have a responsibility
to
and
it's better.
I could not disagree with that more.
Mm-hmm.
I really couldn't. I do think that leaders have a responsibility to lead responsibly.
Bingo. I love that. And you said earlier in our conversations, you said, and I agree 1,000% with this, businesses are in the business to find painful problems and then fix them so people pay them money to fix them.
It's very simple.
It's like classic entrepreneurship 101. It's like business 101.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
I really don't need you to tell me which way to vote.
Are you sure?
I can figure that out on my own.
You're really sure?
Yeah. I don't need you to tell me
how I should feel about a particular topic.
Yeah. I think it's just, we're getting into these really muddy areas.
Yeah.
And what truly surprises me, and I mean this, like, shocks the heck out of me, is that you have these leaders that know better. You know that this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
But we push forward just to see if maybe you're wrong.
And say goodbye to millions of dollars.
And your reputation.
Yeah.
So there's always someone waiting to take your spot.
That's so well said.
Right? There's not a target competitor that's like gonna have to be created. Like, there's one already out there that's just waiting.
There's several. Yeah.
For you to just lose just enough market share for them to be able to take in, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Focus on solving the problem. And the problem is, people need to walk into a store and buy laundry detergent and leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Target's but it's interesting too, because I remember as a kid going in with my aunt, who's a year younger than me, which is kind of fun, Auntie Sarah. And I remember walking into a Target and she's like, oh, Target's just so much nicer. Like, Target's whole vibe was, let's create a place that's a little bit more comfortable than a Walmart. Let's create a place that's a little bit higher quality than whatever.
Kmart or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. And so, and that was their brand. That was their push. Was let's have an elevated customer experience. You can walk in and get dinner, whatever, and it's a little nicer here.
It's nicer.
Yeah.
You can also grab a Starbucks coffee on your way out, or
a bag of peanut M&Ms or whatever. Yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, and so to inject anything else into that recipe is just going to create disasters.
Why?
Yeah, I love it. Okay, well let's just shift gears just for a little bit, and I do want to end and go a little spiritual with you just for a second.
Okay.
So tell me what you believe in.
Oh.
Like, tell me what drives TaChelle. Truth, obviously. Be bold, obviously. Be you, obviously. But tell me what do you believe in, and what do you think? What are you doing that creates light?
Ooh, what do I believe in?
And I'm okay with people believing different things. I think that's beautiful. We're all seeing different perspectives. What do you believe?
So I definitely believe in. It's interesting. I feel like I'm going through a spiritual journey.
I think you are too.
Right now.
I've seen it. I've been watching it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going through this spiritual journey. So I grew up, like I said, Christian, but I struggled with Christianity in my home because it was never really demonstrated.
Well, especially with aunts and uncles that are falling apart.
They were definitely falling apart, but even, my mom, my sisters, the way that they treated each other was just so awful.
I'm sorry.
But during the week, it was just full on, whatever we do, whatever. And then on Sunday mornings, the gospel music was on. Full on praise and I always thought that was just weird. Like, why is this just like a Sunday type of thing?
Hypocrisy a little bit.
And then after, 3:00, the music went off and we went back to, watching The Simpsons or whatever the case may be, which I love. And I still watch The Simpsons.
The Simpsons are hilarious. I agree.
So Sundays were reserved for the performance, basically. The music came on. My mom made a huge deal about us getting dressed and going to church. And we got home and that was the end of it. So Christianity never felt really real to me. I knew God, I knew of Jesus, but I didn't really know. I didn't see it embodied, I guess is the bigger thing. When I moved to LA, I got really curious about faith and religion, and so I went to I just researched Buddhism and Hinduism. I went to a mosque. I just explored. I really didn't know what I believed in. I knew what my family believed in. And I remember saying to my mom that I was going to some group dinner with a bunch of people that believed in Buddhism that I met at work, and she got really upset with me. That's not, no, like that's not what you were taught. That's not how you were raised. And God won't like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? Why would he be upset if I asked questions and I explored and I really just wanted to understand? So at that point in my life, I was doing more to understand what I believed in than anything that had ever been demonstrated to me growing up. And so in LA is where I found that I did believe in Christianity. I did believe in God. I did believe that Jesus died on the cross for us. I believed all of that. And so I became this really sweet, devout Christian girl. I stopped cursing. I stopped drinking. I'm back cursing and drinking, but I still definitely believe in Jesus died on the cross for us. I am a believer. I'm not the best, but I do believe this. I do believe that we are given certain gifts. And one of mine is that the Lord blessed me with this unbelievable ability to stand firm in what I believe in and in my truth. And that is my responsibility to Him to not waste that. That's what I believe with my whole heart. And that's a big part of why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. It's because I know that this type of gift is not just, you're not taught this in schools. Like, this is a God-given ability. And so it's on me to make sure that I'm doing that. And through that, I am fulfilling what I'm supposed to be doing, like on this earth, in His name. That's what I believe. And I think that boldness that's a gift. Not everyone has the gift of being bold or the gift of being okay, being by yourself, standing for what you believe in. And that's been me the majority of my life. But I've been protected my entire life. So I feel like that just confirms if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because why else would I still feel the need to do it? It's not all that fun. Not true. I love it. I love it. I know that I'm divinely gifted, and with that comes responsibility.
Or what's the best way to find your book?
So you can get the book on Amazon, or you can also get it on Barnes and Noble. No audiobook yet. I'm working on that. So I do have it right now in an ebook format, and then you also have it available in paperback. I'm working on a hardback, and then I'm working also on the second book in the series, which Sam is the reason I'm even writing a series. And that one is called Gender is Not a Credential. So Black is Not a Credential is the first one. Gender is number 2. And then the final is Loud is Not a Credential. It's not. So yeah, you can find it on Amazon or also on Barnes & Noble. But you can also connect with me if you're interested in like more diversity insights and business strategy. I'm available via LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, TaChelle Lawson.com.